In this video, I'm going to show you how to actually read TikTok metrics so you can start making informed decisions when testing your dropshipping products. You don't want to be in a situation where you're actually really close to a breakthrough, but you can't see it because you can't really read the metrics correctly, so you actually miss out on the opportunity to have your first big winner. I'm going to be showing you the do's and don'ts of reading TikTok metrics, and I'm going to be showing you how to actually scale a product when you find that initial winner. Stay to the end of the video if you're really serious about dropshipping. With that being said, let's get right into it. The first thing we want to do is set up our columns so we can actually see on what stats we need to focus on. So as you can see, we're in the ads manager of the product from last video on how your 1,331 clicks, something like that, away from your first sales, where I show you click by click on how to get the first sales. But what we didn't set up in that video is the columns, and we can set up the custom columns by going to default columns and going on custom columns. And what we want to do is delete everything after ad ID. The first thing we want to do is go on basic data and select a complete payment ROAS, and we want to select complete payment, view content, add to carts, initiate checkout, all of them. Then we can go to engagement. After page events, we want to go to basic data. Just scroll all the way up, and we can select CPM, CPC, impressions, click-through rate, reach, and we might as well select the CPA. And what we also want to add is the 2-second video views. When that's done, we can press on confirm, and our custom columns are set up. Now that we set up the custom columns, we can see that we have more stats to look at and it's more organized. Now what we have to look at are the primary metrics and the secondary metrics. The primary metrics are the CPA, so the cost per acquisition, or the ROAS, so the return on ad spend. That means the return you get for each dollar you invest. Now to calculate your break-even CPA, you simply take your sales price minus the product cost, and that is the minimum your CPA has to be not to fall into profit. For example, if I'm selling a small flower for $10 and it costs me $2, my CPA is $8. As long as my CPA stays $8 or below, I'm not falling into profit. Preferably, I want my CPA to be as low as possible so I can keep as much margin for myself as possible. For the ROAS, you have to take your sales price and divide that by your break-even price. So for my small flower, the ROAS would be 1.25, so that's a really good ROAS. So as long as my ROAS isn't under 1.25, I won't be at a loss. For my ROAS, I want it to be as high as possible, again to keep as much margin for myself as possible. You shouldn't worry about your secondary metrics, I'm gonna talk about in a second, when making action-based decisions. But you should only look at your secondary metrics as guidance of why your creatives aren't performing well. To efficiently and budget-friendly test your products, you need a reliable research tool. That's why I partnered up with Winning Hunter. It's the only software on the market that has an accurate sales and ad spend tracker. As you can see here, I can search for ads that are running successful right now. You can tailor your search using the different filters, and you can use this tool not only for Facebook ads but also for TikTok ads. On top of that, there's also features like the reverse image search tool and the TikTok creative watermark remover. If you're serious about dropshipping, you need to be using Winning Hunter. Sign up after this video using the link below. Most important secondary metrics are CPC, CTR, CPM, and hook rate. A CPC, so cost per click to the landing page, between 50 cents and $1 is good. A CTR, so a click-through rate under 1% is lacking, between 1.5% and 1% is good, and above 1% is very good. A CPM, so cost per mil or cost per 1,000 impressions, $2 to $5 is very good, $5 to $10 is good, and $10+ is bad. But the CPM can strongly depend on factors like niche, competition, and so on, and also external factors like inflation. Lastly, the hook rate, so the 2-second video views per impression, 20 to 40% should be improved. 40 to 50% is good, and 50% and above is very good. Now you generally know what you should aim for your secondary metrics. If your CPM is high, then your videos just have to be more engaging. If your CPC and click-through rate is high, then you just have to create a stronger buying intent in the ad creative itself. And if your hook rate is low, then you just have to make more engaging or shocking hooks. Now that you know what your primary and secondary metrics are and what you should generally aim for, I want to show you how you should read your metrics in the Ads Manager. The way you should read your metrics is not on the ad group level, or even worse, on the campaign level. You should always read your stats on the creative level. This is the most important part when it comes to reading metrics in general. The reason for that is that if you're looking at your stats on the ad group level or on the campaign level, you're looking at your stats as a whole. Take this as an example. Imagine you're in charge of a garden with various types of flowers. You notice that some areas of the garden are thriving while others are struggling. Instead of revamping the entire garden or replanting all the flowers, you decide to examine each flower individually. Upon closer inspection, you realize that certain flowers are blooming beautifully while others are withering. Rather than revamping the entire garden, you choose to selectively boost the healthy flowers and remove the ones that are struggling. Same concept with the campaign. Don't shut off your whole campaign just because the stats as a whole don't look beautiful. Don't destroy the whole garden because the garden as a whole doesn't look beautiful. Don't shut off your ad group because the stats on your ad group level don't look perfect. Same thing with the garden. Don't destroy certain parts of the garden just because that part doesn't look beautiful as a whole. Now, of course, if all the creatives in one ad group have bad metrics, then you can shut off the ad group. Just like you would revamp the part of the garden that has just bad flowers. And the same thing counts with the campaign as a whole. Now that that's out of the way, we can look when to really kill an ad. Here are my 4 kill rules. First, don't kill an ad that hasn't spent 1 to 2 times your AOV. What is your AOV? It's your average order value. If, for example, I have a small flower that's selling 50% of the time for like $10 and a big flower that's selling 50% of the time for $20, then my average order value is $15. Second, don't kill an ad that is close to being in profit. For example, when I'm advertising the flowers and let's say one ad creative spent $15 and it only got 1 sale, I'm technically at a loss because the CPA is at $15 and I only sold a small flower for $10 and the CPA there should be $8. But if I would get another sale, then I would actually be close to break even already. And if I would get another sale after that, I would be already well in profits. So always keep that in mind when your ads haven't spent a lot, because your metrics can be very skewed and just 1 or 2 sales can change the entire playing field. The third rule is to kill ads after 10 days that still haven't spent 3 to 4 times their AOV. And the fourth rule, the last rule, is to only kill ads when you have new ads ready, except out of tight budget reasons. This means you should always have new ads in your testing campaigns for the ones you have killed. So you should always be on your feet, creating new content, creating new concepts to then replace with ads you shut off. Let's take a look at the metrics for my last video as an example. Here you can see I ran 3 different ad creatives on an ABO campaign. As you can see here, the ROAS is almost 5.5 and there are 18 complete payments and the cost per result, so like the CPA, is $6.48. Now here alone I don't even have to care about the secondary metrics because I'm well in the profits because my minimum ROAS is 1.5. Now we can still take a look at the secondary metrics and as we can see they're looking pretty good. But if for example the CPM would be $15 and I would have that ROAS, I wouldn't care at all. And the CPC and click-through rate are also looking good. And the hook rate is amazing. Almost everyone is actually watching at least 2 seconds of the video. Now what I forgot to add is the total cost. So what I'm gonna do is just select it here and drag it up. So I dragged it up to the top and then we can click on confirm. And as we can see here, these ads haven't spent $1, so we shouldn't shut them off because there is no real reason to shut them off because we don't know if they're really going to run well or not. And they don't fall into any kill rule anyways, so there's no reason to kill them. Now what can we do when we see that our creatives are running well? This leads me to the scaling process, which I'm gonna talk about quickly in this video. Now this ad group is a testing ad group. We're constantly cycling in new creatives. Now what we can do is make a second ad group, a scaling ad group with more budget, where we're going to put the winning ad creatives in. So what we can do is just copy the ad group and call it scaling 1. Now we can select the pixel here again, optimize for complete payment. Everything else is already set up because it's a duplicate. And for the budget, we're going to set 5 times our AOV. So in my case here, it's rounded up to $200. So I will set the budget to $200 and set the start date for the next day midnight. Optimize for conversions, and then we can continue to the ads. And here, because the other ad groups didn't spend yet, I'm still going to give them a chance in the scaling ad group. Now what we can do is delete the other 2 creatives that haven't proven themselves yet. And we can check that the landing page is still up to date here, and we can click on publish. Perfect, now we have a testing ad group and a scaling ad group and an ABO, and we're all set up. This is the initial step you should take when scaling your ads. Now you can imagine this like a Pokemon arena, where the scaling ad group is like the big arena where the big dogs get to play, and the testing ad group is like the noob kind of league where like new players get to prove themselves to be worthy for the big leagues. So this was my full run through on how to read TikTok metrics correctly, so you can make informed decisions and not waste time and money by making the wrong decisions. Furthermore, you now know how to initially scale your creatives when you have identified that winner. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. Leave a like and subscribe right now to not miss out on more value-packed content. Join Imperium Club for more help from me personally and more resources. Join the free Discord too, it's linked down below. Thank you for watching, I'll see you in the next video.